Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to all of you out there, brothers, gentlemen. Your captain is here. And today's topic that we're going to discuss is a topic that I'm sure a lot of us have heard about and have most likely been accused of and has entered our life one way or the other. But this is the topic about abuse. And sometimes it's very easy to be labeled as someone who's abusive. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you out there have been called it. And it's so fast, nowadays, brothers, that the stigma of being an abusive male is just labeled on someone. Case in point, it's gotten to a point that, like, literally, if I'm walking and I proverbially stub my toe on the side of the bed and I yell, ah, shit, that some people would already consider that abusive. Isn't that interesting? But the saddest part about it is this narrative is not reciprocated in any way, shape, or form. Sometimes, brothers, we're quick to be called the abusers, even if we don't mean anything abusive at all or don't do anything abusive at all. That the term abuse now has already been so stretched out that sometimes even sneezing in another person's direction would be considered abusive. We have physical abuse, we have sexual abuse, which is one of the worst, mental abuse, psychological abuse, and now even verbally abusive. And under no way, shape, or form am I condoning any of these. These are all horrible. But one thing I'm going to ask you all, brothers, is this. What about us? What about us, men? Why is it that if we raise our voice at a woman or at a child or another person, we're labeled as verbally abusive, right? You're verbally abusive. But if a woman screams at me in public, people will giggle, people will ignore, and most people will just not give a damn. So it's okay to label us as abusive, but when the abuse is happening to us, we don't get any justice, right? And usually this is how it happens, right, gentlemen? It doesn't start off with us lambasting or yelling or berating women or anyone for that matter. In most cases, unless of course you're a barbarian, which you are no gentleman and you don't deserve to be here. But in most cases, it starts off with us asking something nicely, like you could ask your girlfriend, hey, can you please hand me the glass of water? And then what happens? Sometimes you get the water. Congratulations, you have a good woman. Or sometimes just due to resentment, they ignore you. So you assert. You say, honey, can you please hand me the water? And in some cases, you get ignored again. So you assert some more and you say, honey, I asked nicely, please give me the water. And then you get ignored again until the time comes where you say, God damn it, I asked you several times, can you please give me the water? What happens? Oh, I'm abused. You're abusive. And in most cases, it's been completely forgotten that we've asked nicely so many times. I'm of the belief, brothers, that all men, from the Pope to the Dalai Lama, have limits. And if you push enough, a man is going to explode. And that's why I want to share about abuse today, because it's a deck that's stacked against us unfairly, unfairly. And it's not something that I condone. If you are a man and you hit your woman, I'm saying this on live YouTube right now, you are not a man in my book. You should never hit a woman unless it's to protect yourself from getting killed or horribly harmed. You should really not ever lay a hand on a woman. for reasons in protection of women and in protection of yourself. But like I said, abuse is not just physical. And because of this false narrative in the world that we men are tough, we can take it, the amount of abuse that we're expected to endure has just gone up and up and up and up and up. Like I said, it's not just physical. Example. Sometimes if you have a friend who you agree to meet at a certain time, every single time they meet with you, they're always late. That means they're abusing your time. No matter how many times you've asked them nicely, please, can we meet on time? Or somebody always comes to you asking to borrow money and they never pay back. Well, that's an abuse of your generosity. But you know, brothers, one thing that I've learned is this: you will never be abused by someone who respects you, because only the people who don't respect you will show you abuse. Think about it. Would you ever want to be abusive towards someone you respect? Abuse is a sign of disrespect and lack of it completely. But here's the thing, brothers, a lot of us feel if we just keep quiet, it'll go away. It's just a one-off, sweep it under the rug. But in experience, I will share this to you. It always snowballs. And the only way, brothers, of stopping it is to put an end to it once it happens. Or as Alex Hormozy said, basically it's to an extent of the time between stimuli and response has to be non-existent. So if you don't like the fact that somebody is abusing your time, you have got to call it out right away. And this, brothers, is the first tool in protecting you from abuse, which is boundaries. Yeah, maybe once a person is late, but if every time they're late, they have zero respect for your time. And the more you tolerate it, the more it's going to happen until you say enough is enough. I am not tolerating this. And when you put boundaries, this, brothers, is the ultimate litmus test. Because those people who respect those boundaries are the ones who really respect you. While those people who step over them, well, that's already a red flag. Remember, what you tolerate perpetuates, and your feelings matter. Abuse is such a loaded gun because it's so okay for a wife or a girlfriend to hit their boyfriend or their partner, right? How many times have you heard this happen? A guy gets hit by their woman. But can we go to the cops? We'll just get laughed at. But if we lose it, which we shouldn't, and we lay a hand on them, up, domestic violence, wife beater, right? I actually asked people this. If in the middle of the street, somebody saw a woman slap me, how many people would come to protect me and say, hey, that's wrong, you're not supposed to hit him? Because it's still assault. But if I hit a woman, I'd probably get decked. Heck, I would do that. If I saw a guy hit a woman in public, I would deck them. But what about the men? And don't give me some machismo, oh, you should be able to hit back. No. I feel it's better that women also be equally liable if they're going to get physically abusive towards men. Let's talk about psychological abuse, gaslighting. How many women, how many friends, how many partners get in your head and make you feel like you're the problem? But why? Why do we keep them? Why do we continue hanging out with these kind of friends? Why do we continue staying in these relationships? You know why? Because the reason we can't leave is because we have an abandonment issue. We don't want to be abandoned. So we hold on. We hope that one day it will just go away. But you know what? Rare. Very rare, brothers. It only stops when you put your foot down. And under no way, shape, or form does it represent you hitting back. Don't become the monster you're trying to fight. People do it because they think they can get away with it. People do it because somewhere in their sick minds, they think you deserve it. But brothers, no, you don't deserve abuse. You can talk things in a respectable manner with your partner, with your friends, with your family. That friend of yours who comes over whenever they just need food, they're abusing your generosity. Let's see if you call them out on it. If you say, hey, buddy, I notice that you're always here when you're hungry, but the minute you eat, you leave right away. Let's see if they'll stay around and say, I'm sorry. And if they do, good. That means they're being accountable. But if they come up with some cockamamie reason like, well, you got a lot of food anyway and you're fat, means that they don't respect you. Any friend, loved one, partner who recognizes your feelings, who acknowledges it, says, hey, okay, I know I hurt you. I'll try to do better, is somebody worth keeping. But people who like to twist things and make you feel like you're the problem, these people are slowly plotting your demise. And we as men, brothers and sisters, especially brothers, can only take so much abuse from people until we do something crazy. And when we do something crazy, we're the bad ones, right? Although I do not condone cheating, I have asked a lot of people, what was it that made them cheat on their partner, on their wife? And you know what they said? It's because they found comfort and support in the person that they cheated with. If you're in a relationship, the bare minimum you should have with someone, be it platonic, be it romantic, and be it familial, is support. And if you don't get it, if your wife treats you like your feelings don't matter, you're not allowed to get sick, you're not allowed to get sad, you're not allowed to get depressed, how long do you think you could last without looking to get those feelings met from another source? Good if it's just brothers or comrades, but in most cases, men will look for another woman who will make them feel like they matter, who will make them feel like their feelings are important to them. How many friends that you open up to look at you in a condescending light, like you're just being some crybaby, when in fact you're asking for help? One forgotten friend of mine who, when I had a bad breakdown, looked at me as if I was some sort of, drama queen loser, laughed at it, when even people around us were like, no, he looks pretty bad. And I was really close to doing something stupid. I was just thankful that I had another friend who noticed it and said, nah, this is different. I got you. And honestly, that's pretty much what men just want to hear from their fellow men at times. I got you. That when you are pinned against the wall at your limit with nothing left, final round, they got you. Not that they're going to carry you all the way. That's not their responsibility. And that's the quickest way of losing friends. But that when you're at your weakest, this person got you. They will be the one to stand on your behalf. That is a friend. But those who abandon you when you're at your weakest, those who mock you, who make fun of your misfortune, or who don't even give you the courtesy of feeling that way, those are abusive people in your life. And brothers, you do not deserve any kind of abuse. But the first and most logical step is really to implement those boundaries. If I called you a dumbass and you didn't like it, you have to stand up for yourself first and say, Robert, I do not approve of you calling me a dumbass. Please don't do it again. And this will be the first litmus test of our friendship. If I say, hey, oh God, sorry, I didn't think it meant that much to you, I won't do it again. But if I say, oh, you're just being a pussy, grow a pair, that only means I don't care about how you feel. And more abuse will come. Same thing in romantic relationships. When your partner hits you, you can't really do anything physically because you will come off as the bad guy, even if you didn't do anything wrong. Even if she hit you just because you Forgot her birthday or something like that. Well, that would that would usually merit a riot act. But if you just go quiet and just say, okay, I can take it, but you're going to give me all these reasons, right? Oh, I have kids, I can't leave, or I have nowhere to go, or I don't want to be single. Okay, fine. So you would rather live walking on eggshells, right? If you have kids, you want them to be raised in an environment where domestic violence is permissible from a woman to a man. Because it is what it still is. It is still domestic violence. It's just the roles, the gender roles have been swapped. What are you telling your kids? If you have a daughter, you're telling her it's okay to hit a man. What if she tries hitting a man that doesn't want to be hit and will hit back? That's going to put her in dire straits. If you have a son, what does that say to him? That it's okay for women to hit me and demean me. And you know what's going to happen? Your self-esteem will go down and down and down and down and down. Another form of abuse that you'll see a lot is ownership. Not just romantically, it's even with friends. Friends who think they own you. Relationships who think they own you. That's not love, that's control. And you can't love and control someone at the same time. All these things constitute abuse. And brothers, you don't deserve abuse. People who disregard your feelings when you're at rock bottom, that's abuse. What you need is a support system. If you have that one friend, that one relative, that one comrade who will hold space for you, they don't need to solve your problems, but they'll just hold space for you. That's the beginning of your healing. Shout out to my buddy Jerome who did that for me in my time. I hope, brothers, you have the same. Stay strong. Your captain is here.